It's a beautiful morning in January, if not a little bit cold, and as you might be able to tell from the roads, a little bit wet. But I'm doing my regular thing of trying to keep this bike running and on the road. It's not as cold as it has been. I was riding the MV in 3 degrees C just a few days ago, and now I'm riding this one in slightly warmer and less overcast weather. I'm quite nervous about these roads though, because they can get really slippy. Had a job to start this bike this morning, my fault, because I haven't had it on a battery charger for over 2 weeks, and it's been sat in the garage in pretty cold conditions. It did start though, but it just struggled to get itself going. Now, I don't really like riding on wet roads in the cold, but I'd rather be out here giving this thing a run and enjoying this fantastic cool air, very refreshing air, and giving the bike a chance to keep running and keep that oil and get a bit of charge into the battery as well. Definitely get it back on the charger when I get back. That was a bit worrying, that. So we're going to give it a bit of a blast. Whoa, it's good to get out on this bike. Such a different bike from the MV Agusta, in that the comfort is so much nicer and the power delivery is just smoother, is probably the best word. Yeah, smoother, I'll go with that. It's not as exciting and sort of bone trembling as the MV. Far better for what it's designed for, which is high speed touring, and it is definitely better for that. Talking about high speed touring, as I said in the last video when I was riding the MV, I am going to take the MV on a bit of a tour this year. Forget weather like this, it would be great. And I need to get some sports bags or something, panniers, for this bike as well, because it does lack those. And of course I haven't ridden the GS for a while either. I've got the GS 310 simply because it's a bit of a commuter bike, and because the weather's been so bad, I just didn't feel safe riding that. The bike's in touring mode. I always have it in touring mode. I don't know why, it just seems to be the perfect sort of balance. And I've said this before really, this bike's got too many settings. I mean, it's got about 7 different settings for traction control, 4 or 5 different settings, if not more, for ABS. Then it's got sport mode, then it's got urban mode, then it's got touring mode. And if you add up all those different settings, it's like one of those BMWs, you know, the BMW cars, where you've got so many settings. It's almost as many settings as a BMW car has seat adjustments. It's bonkers. For its first time ever this year, in its life in fact, it's got to go through the MOT, the UK MOT, Ministry of Transport test, to make sure that it's legally safe, and I'm sure it will be. I spent over £600 on it last year, keeping it all tip top. And the road's being quite dicey today. Don't want to go off the beaten path too much. Certainly woken me up this morning now. That fuel gauge has gone down a bit as well. Underneath the saddle of this bike it gets really hot. A lot of heat coming from the engine, and on days like this it's most welcome. It's not very nice when you're in the summer, but during this time of year you've got this lovely warm sort of temperature coming up around the inside of your legs. It's really quite nice. pulled over for a quick break, and yeah, just thought I'd give you a quick look over. Obviously things are getting a bit dirty, need a bit of a clean now. We're in the winter, not the ideal weather to be riding it. The tyres, as you can see, are looking like they need a good clean. These are the brand new tyres that were only fitted about 5 months ago, I think, if I remember right, but they're thereabouts. It's had a bit of a hard time in the last few months. It's still not too bad, but yeah, needs a good clean up now. Even despite some of this awful road conditions, she still looks absolutely great. I have had a couple of calls from my local Ducati dealer asking if I want to change it for the new Supersport S, but I can't see any reason for doing it. And really, the new Supersport S that I've tried, actually I can't get my feet down on it. So for people like me of a sort of shorter height, the new Supersport S is not one I would consider now. One thing I've never used on this bike, I've just thought about, is the quick shifter. Funnily enough, my Ducati dealer says once you try it you never go back, but I just like the involvement of the manual gear shift. It just feels a bit more involving. Maybe I should try the quick shifter. At the moment it's turned off. The DQS is off. I turned it off because it broke last time. Had a bit of a slip on this bend on the MV a few days ago, so solid, this bike, so solid. I mentioned it on the MV when I took that out. These gloves are great. I mean, £44 UK for these winter gloves, and my fingers are completely warm. They don't feel in the slightest bit cold. They're really doing a fantastic job. I can't wait to try my Italian summer gloves that I bought when I was with my friend Andy, but it's just not the weather for those yet. So we stick to good old British winter gloves for now. Up the hill. Whee! Yes! That is a terrific winter's morning view. Apart from this speed camera, but yeah, what a day. What a fantastic morning to be out on this Ducati Supersport. I love this bike. It's just so easy to ride. Yes. The difficulty is resisting the temptation to go flying past these cars in front. But with the roads like they are at the moment, I just don't want to be too over enthusiastic. Yellow Porsche Cayman. Used to have one of those. Almost identical to that one. It got a bit dull though. I got bored with it within about 3 months. The thing is, I got bored with my Porsche Cayman, I got bored with my Lotus to a certain degree. I've never got bored of my bikes. This bike is as exciting now as it was the day I bought it. I still absolutely love it.